Mistakes are how you know you're still alive.
Yeah, there is a saying, I believe it was, you don't make mistakes if you never try anything new.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if you don't make any mistakes, if everything you're doing is perfect, then you're stagnating.
Exactly.
You're not progressing, yeah.
And welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Chris Yeti, and this is Yeti Talks, where we get down in the weeds talking with game developers and their projects. Today, I have Ivan Mandić. Is that how I say your name?
That's fine.
I don't want to butcher it. How do I say it?
Yeah, it's fine. Ivan, but Mandić, as in
Mandić. Oh, wow. I was kilometers off. Sorry, I'm gonna make sure I have the right metric
It's
system.
fine. It's your accent. You know how you pronounce words.
It's the worst accent. We just kind of throw words against the wall and expect it to stay. Like, aha, America.
Well, you can't really. To be honest, you can't really know how to pronounce everything. There are like so many cultures around the world and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say Americans are even bad at pronouncing American names because you get people who call you on Saturday morning trying to sell you something, and they just your name can be Smith, and they're like Smithel. I'm like, what? Like, why are you trying this hard? Schmidt.
Yeah, to make it sound posh, fancy. Yeah.
Thank you so much for jumping on my show today to talk about your game. It is called Turbo Chicken Simulator, and it looks like you have early alpha already out on Steam. I got some time to play it before we connected today, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm actually in love with the idea that you're doing. Like interviewing game developers is something that I can listen as well. You know, I'm interested in such type of content, listening to stories from other people, their experiences, how they do the things. It's always helpful, and it's also a great motivation for when you're working to listen to people talk about making games and their passions, and it motivates you.
That's fantastic to hear, and yeah, it's great to get kind of an understanding of everyone's insight and how they make games. I love video games personally. I'm just terrible at the technical side of it. So this is how I try and involve myself with my passion. And so this is exciting for me.
That's excellent. Yeah, that you decided to do it. Yeah, it's super.
So tell me a little bit about Turbo Chicken Simulator. You know, where did this kind of go back to the beginning? Where did the idea come from? And tell me the story.
Yeah. So first of all, I should introduce my team. There is 5 of us in Balkanware, or should I say Frozen Pixel Studios. Me and my co-founder. Yeah. So there are two of the people are in charge of the company, and 4 people are full-time active developers on our projects. So basically, before this, we did another game, and it took us 2 years from start to finish to complete it. It was called Joe Wonder and the Enigmatic Adventures. We successfully managed to release that game onto the consoles and without a publisher and stuff like that. And basically, we wanted something different. We wanted to do something exciting, something fast. So we basically came upon this idea of Balkanware, a funny game company that would do funny, let's say, funny style or comedy style games.
Okay.
And that's how the Turbo Chicken Simulator was born. It was somewhere about 7 or 8 months ago that it started completely. Yeah. And it was after only about 3 months or 4 months, we immediately released it to Steam Early Access in a version 0.1.
Okay.
Yeah, completely opposite of what we did with our past project, where we took 2 years and a bit and didn't show anything to anyone until it was done, and then released a finished product. This time we just went all out and like bare bones gave the first version of the game, and started listening to feedback, started building community and stuff like that.
So, yeah, I saw the Joe Wonder game on the Steam profile. You guys have it bundled together, and I found it really interesting. I didn't get a chance to look at too much detail. Can you tell me, Joe Wonder, what was that like? How did you guys come up with that idea?
That was, in fact, our first project with this new team, and we wanted to. I'm a huge fan of Nintendo, but so is a lot of our other team members as well, and we grew up playing those type of games. We're all 90s kids, so I was born in 1990. Yeah, and
Super Nintendo, SNES.
Yeah, Super Nintendo, especially the bigger impact, I would say, had the PlayStation 1 and N64, because I was around 7 years when those consoles came out, and I was just amazed at 3D graphics and those first 3D platformers and stuff like that. So yeah, it was always a dream to build such a game. Yeah, so
Star Fox was my introduction to that world, and the N64 and the 3D. I remember going from the Super Nintendo and then going to my cousin's house, and they had bought the N64 like the first or second year it came out. They had Star Fox, and I was probably somewhere between 8, 9, and 10 at that point in my life, and it was almost life-changing. There are a few things in my life that I can identify as life-changing, and that's definitely one of them.
yeah, same thing. I remember when I first saw PlayStation, that was the first thing I seen in 3D. I had a NES and SNES for years. I started playing games with when I was 4. And when I saw Spyro the Dragon on the PlayStation 1 with the DualShock controller vibrating in your hands, I was just amazed. 3D and the vibrations and things, like it looked like it was made by aliens compared to what I had. Yeah, so that memory is still in my head vividly.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you go from a child, we share a similar experience diving into video games, an escape of reality. How do you go from a child to an adult and get more into video games? Did you go to school or did you just self-learn?
From my technical perspective, I've learned everything myself. So basically, I just wanted to create a game. Yeah, that was my goal. So I started. I remember first time when someone told me that, like, you write things to a computer and then it does it. I had no concept of programming, right? But also there was a lack of internet. Internet did exist and I did have access to the internet, but it was far from the internet we have today. There was no YouTube. There was a very small amount of stuff you could find, and it was especially difficult if you wanted to get into it. Like today, I'd say if you wanted to learn game development, you would just Google how to game development or ask ChatGPT or whatever, But back then, it was a pain in the beep. I started around 12, as I remember, with game makers and different tools that I managed to grab or find or knew about, Then started learning C++.
That's
somewhere
the one.
Around that time. Yeah. It was, everyone says you should, so I did. And that's how it all started, and I never stopped. So it's been more than 20 years now.
Wow.
Grind to perfect my skills in making games.
Was there any particular part in your journey of learning C++ that you found really difficult, or just over time you accumulated?
It was absolutely amazing for me. I got this amazing book called Demystified, or Demystified C++. It's actually Croatian book, so we are from Croatia. I didn't mention that at all.
Okay.
Yeah, and some folks here, professors from FER, I believe, wrote that book, and book was just amazing. It was a step-by-step, basically guide, 800 pages, teaching you everything you wish to know about C++. Yeah, and when you get a bite of it, when you understand certain words, terms that you need to use, then it's easier to find more resources online. So yeah, that's one thing led to another, you know.
That's a complete opposite experience I had with C++. I tried to open up a book and get into it, and then I found myself curled up in a corner, crying and shivering. So it was a severe challenge for me to be able to start learning programming. And I naturally clung on to other elements of development, more artistic side or animation, music and things like that. And
I can tell you why it was why that was simple for me, because before I got that book, it was actually a few years before that I actually started learning to program. But how I did it is, I've noticed there's code in those, even in Game Maker and in those tools that I use,
right.
and I've noticed that people are writing some code and they use it to build things. So basically what I did is I just read code, without any context. So that's the first parts of C.
Yeah.
I learned myself just by looking, and it was super hard, but I was so determined to make games that I didn't give up, So when I got the book, like, it was, oh my god, look, everything is explained here.
Yeah.
I don't no longer have to like spend hours trying to understand something without a context, So yeah, that's why. But again, I just wanted to make games, and this was needed, so it was fun for me,
I think that's the most important element to have, because that's what keeps you going back despite the challenges of learning whatever it is you're diving into. Especially when you go back to the late 90s, early 2000s, there wasn't a lot of tools. There wasn't, like you said, YouTube opportunities to jump on and then just be able to start watching videos, which still, even to this day, it's almost better to pick up a book and learn C++ or Python or whatever gaming programming language you want to do, because a video, it seems easier to follow, but it's actually harder to follow than a book that has step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can sit there and read it and take your time. Whereas a video, you're okay. Let me click back. Let me put the play speed to half speed, and because a lot of tutorials they move so quick. Click this, click that, do this, type this, say this, and they'll skip a step here. And then
I agree, especially because now that it's so good, let's say that it became so advanced. You are learning certain things, but you are not understanding why you are learning those things,
Yeah.
Because everything that I learned was always for a reason, I need to solve this problem, and then now you need to learn pointers or whatever in code, allocate memory, whatever, because you need it. You start with static memory, then I need heaps, now I need dynamic allocation, and then this is what it does, and this is why you need to learn that, and this is how it works and what it does to the computer, but yeah, I don't know. I cannot judge different people for their way they learn, but it's at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you succeed. Doing it, just do it. Make something.
Yep, keep trying. Read stuff.
That's the most important thing. Watch tutorials. Watch other people's work. Whatever you do, just continue forward and make yourself a better.
Now, for me personally, going from an adolescence to an adult, I struggled to understand how to properly learn, and I'm just an idiot personally. So trying to how do I learn something wasn't a question I asked myself until I was like 16 or 17, and then from there, I kind of went from the school, elementary, and high school system to I did really bad with grades. I didn't pay attention. I didn't really understand the point of a lot of it. But by the time I got to college, I was like, I need to start figuring things out for myself. And that it's like, how do I learn to learn?
Yeah, yeah. It is complicated. In fact, you're not the only person. I mean, I would say, majority of men have the similar problem, especially men,
Yeah.
because when you come to puberty, like your hormones go wild, and all you can think are girls, right? So you can't focus on stuff. And going to high school at that
Yeah.
point is horrible.
I did
You
bad at
should be.
math, but I knew every porn site.
Yeah, of course. You should be preparing yourself for life. You should be learning all these great things, but you can't. You don't have any motivation to do it, And then
Yeah.
after that, like, calms down, then you're like, oh, wait, I should be studying. I should go to college. I need a job in the future. I need to make money and whatever. Uh, Thankfully, my education, formal education, has nothing to do with what I do in my work.
Yeah.
I didn't study for a game developer, but I did do it in free time, and I learned even in that point, because for me it was not learning; it was having fun. I never took anything related to game development as, oh, I need to do this. No. It was, how do I do that? I was
Yep.
eager to know it, to be better, to experiment. Yeah. So
If
that
it
was good. It was a hobby always. Yeah.
if it feels like work or feels like a chore, you're probably not heading down a direction that is best for you. And so that's why it's like you're saying, it's important to have just something that you keep going back to no matter what, like a stress relief,
Yeah.
something to work on, something to take your mind away from everything else, especially the
Yeah.
girls, because that's trouble.
Yeah. That was trouble. Yeah. But yeah, you need girls in life.
They make life
you-
keep going on, right?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I got married in the meantime and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Well, how did you go from learning C++ to finding this group of people and working on your first project?
Yeah, that was also a long story. So, first off, I had started doing it myself. I was just gonna make everything myself. So I taught myself
All right.
Blender. I did modeling even before Blender, with a tool called Med. Like, you would place every single vertices by itself, and then you would connect those vertices to create triangles. I know it sounds insane, and it was. Creating a model took forever, and then animating meant doing per vertex keyframe animation, doing each frame, moving each pixel without bones and stuff like that. So that's how that's how animations were done back in the day.
Right.
Yeah, and so I started doing everything myself, and eventually I found people around myself through years of doing that, who joined me, who started working on projects on me. I found investors, I found business partners and stuff like that, who would help me with this. I was employed for a bit. I had, in the beginning, I had a YouTube channel on the Frozen Pixel Studio, and I did the game development diary, one of the first game development diaries on YouTube, in fact, for
Interesting.
Nucleotide. It was a frog game, like a blue frog. It had quite beautiful graphics for its time, and managed to get like 3,000 subscribers. That was a lot back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
when
It's a lot today still.
when Ray William Johnson was the king of YouTube, he had 1 million subscribers. That was wow.
That's right.
He was number one. And that, in fact, that YouTube channel helped me to get my first and last job I ever had, like where I was employed for someone else, that I didn't work on my own projects or in my own team, my own company. And it was also related to game development. They were also years ahead of everyone, they were building a metaverse back in 2009. So they wanted to build a 3D shopping center. So that's how my professional career started. I worked there for about 3 years, I believe, and I've learned a lot from them because I was 19 years old when I got there. I was by far the youngest, and I had colleagues that were 45, and I grew up next to them. I was no longer surrounded by
Sure.
my peers. They were all in college, and all of a sudden I was talking to these 40-year-olds who had 20 years of experience in programming and stuff like that, and those were my new colleagues. So that also changed me a bit. And after that, I just decided that, okay, I just want to make video games. I want game development. That's the path I wish to proceed, and managed to build the first team. And ever since, I've been doing video games. Yeah.
I always like joining a new company because, especially in the early years, 19, 20, 21, and they're like, we're looking for an entry-level job, but you're going to need 10, 20 years experience. And you're just like, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like that in Europe,
experience.
but in the US, they're like, entry-level, 20 years experience.
Yeah, I did not have that experience. I must say, as I told you. So basically, what I did at a certain point in my YouTube career, after I was doing, before actually I was doing Nucleotide and Game Development Diary, I wrote my own game engine in C++ and OpenGL, and
Wow.
one of the videos, one of the parts of it, what I did, I wrote entire graphic user interface library, and made few videos about it. Those videos are still available on the Frozen Pixel Studio YouTube channel, so you can go and watch them, see me as a kid
Oh, that's great.
talking about C++ and game engine development. Yeah, and a guy from that company, he was working on UI for their product, for that metaverse that they were doing, and he saw it on YouTube and he was like, oh my god, this guy lives a few kilometers away from us, like what the fuck, we got to get him into, like, he's a kid who just like made this amazing thing, let's get him here in the company, and they did. Yeah. So it's good, YouTube can help you.
Yeah, there are certain skill sets that you can accomplish that will really impress veterans of the industry. And just like you expressed, they will reach out to you and say, hey, what you did is great. Let's work on XYZ.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was 18, 19, and the guy who found it was 35. So he was then older than I am now. Yeah. And yeah, so, and it's cool. Strange thing to happen in life, but it was a game changer because until that point, everyone around me, especially my family, and like, they didn't really think that there is anything. They just thought I'm wasting a lot of time. I was spending a lot of time in front of a computer and playing games, right, doing nothing. So from their perspective, while in fact I was learning programming, I was learning modeling, I was learning 2D design with like photo manipulation, video editing, video recording, production, all these different crazy things. And I was not wasting my time. I was actually finishing my own high school or my own college.
Yeah, that's great because in contrast to myself, I was wasting my time. I was growing up playing RPGs, video games. So my parents would say the same thing that your parents were saying, but you were doing something, you were learning, and I'm just like, I'm not level 12.
I don't want to be some sort of saint. Like, everything was so perfect, like, no. There was everything wrong that I could do. I did. That's the big thing I want to tell you. Like, I made every possible mistake there is to make, and I'm probably not done yet. So, yeah, but that's life. You learn from your mistakes, and
Mistakes are how you know you're still alive.
Yeah, there is a saying, I believe it was Tesla, Einstein, I don't know who it was, but if you don't make mistakes if you never try anything new.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if you don't make any mistakes, if everything you're doing is perfect, then you're stagnating.
Exactly.
You're not progressing. Yeah.
You had mentioned internet speeds as you were growing up, and I couldn't help but to relate to that. So I know we live in different, like opposite sides of the world, but
Yeah.
in the late '90s, early 2000s, I lived in a very distant place from a city, so a very rural area. It was supposed to be 56 kilobytes per second. Kilobits, yeah. We were getting 11 kilobits per second. It's like if I wanted to go on and download a song or download something, it took a minimum of half an hour to an hour.
You had to have a tool to download a 5 megabyte zip file that contained some sort, whatever you needed, a game,
half
whatever.
Day.
You needed a special tool that would preserve, like download it in chunks or whatever, yeah, it was super insane. And also, one thing to mention, I don't know, did you have it or not, but the thing we had it set up before ADSL lines, you couldn't use your telephone line and go onto the internet at the same time.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, so let's say you're downloading a, I don't know, ROM for Super Nintendo or whatever, and it takes a few hours to do it, or you're sending a file to your friend, oh, look what I made. Bam. It takes 3 hours to transfer, and then your mom comes and says, honey, I need to use a phone right now, immediately.
If she says it.
Because we had a system where you had to like connect and reconnect or whatever. It was not connected all the time. At least that's what I remember. Whatever. Or when you would pick up the line, it would break up immediately.
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
That was the thing. Additionally, it was charged per hour, and it was insane. Like I remember, it was almost, and when you would translate to today's money, like $1 or even more per hour. Yeah, so maybe $2 per hour. But when you take in account inflation, that would be like $5 per hour today.
Right.
You know, to use super slow internet just to like see 10 pictures in that hour, you know, and or play World of Warcraft when it showed up and stuff like that. Yeah, and pay every hour. And also we had a thing where like before 7 p.m. it was more expensive because I guess they were charging companies that use internet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then after 7, people use it for their free time. So okay, make it a bit more cheap, you know. So yeah, but it was like selling. Call it. We have a saying. It's selling mist, you know.
Yeah.
To people.
I had a brother that would be on the telephone, and I would try to get on dial up, and I would go and unplug his phone line so I could get on the internet. And just like, I don't know what happened. It disconnected. That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. It for me, it took a while before my mom decided to get me the ADSL line where you would be on, where you could have 24-hour internet and you wouldn't pay for time, but you would pay for bandwidth, right? And she did it after I got like a huge bill, you know, of using constantly. I was all the time on the internet, each hour of the day, and then she had no choice. Like she was like, okay, this will be cheaper, so let's get him this. And yeah, but internet was horrible. But I didn't talk about speeds, because even if you had speeds back then, there was nothing to download from the internet, you know. It was very bare bones. It's nothing like the thing
you'd look for a song, you'd look for a picture, but I think it was mostly music back then. Like you want a song or something.
Yeah, that was, for example, my experience. That was I never did that. I didn't do games, nor I did until later. later in my
Okay.
life, but because it was too much data. I just read things and watched pictures. What we did was a lot of people who had maybe a better internet, they would burn CDs. So CDs were a huge thing when I was growing up at the early stages of internet. So people would just like download games or download content, programs, tools. They would put them on CDs and they would burn them, to friends, whatever, even sell them. A lot of them sold them like for a
Oh,
few bucks.
absolutely.
Yeah. And then like you want an album from Metallica, latest, no problem. That would be like $3 for you, and you pay that guy, and he gives you a legal copy of it, But it would take you like 10 days to download that from the internet, so it was worth it, I guess.
And that's assuming your brother didn't call somebody on the same phone line.
Yeah. All those things, and you had parents who were willing to pay for it and stuff like that. Yeah,
I had a friend who had 2 phone lines, and their house didn't. It's just something their parents did, and I was like, wait a minute. So you can be on the internet and have a phone call? Like, that's blowing my mind right now.
Yeah. He had my parents were. You could never convince them to do something like that.
No, I'm not gonna pay for another phone line. Are you kidding me?
Why?
Go back
so you can play games or waste time.
Yeah, get out there and feed the chickens. For me, I grew up in Oklahoma or Texas, Oklahoma, but it's very country-like, and so my parents had chickens, goats, turkeys. They didn't have cattle. They didn't have cows or bison or anything like that. It just was the smaller animals: rabbits, chickens, turkeys.
I live personally in a village.
Wow.
So we have villages. Yeah, it's strange to you Americans. Oh, you live in a village, with you imagine it like that ancient village, but it's not. It looks basically.
There's a pyramid in the background somewhere.
Yeah. It looks basically like your suburbs. We are close to a town, and I'm very close to one of the biggest towns here in Croatia. But yeah, I'm also a village kid, as you would say, country kid.
Yeah.
Okay? So we did have things like chickens. We did have a dog in the yard, and didn't have cattle. We had pigs. And so I was surrounded by it. Some other people had cattle around me, in my village, and so same as you. A little bit less urban. I spent a lot of time outside playing with. I was free to roam. There was not much danger.
Yep, 90s kids.
Yeah, very safe, and not that it changed much here in Croatia, at least. Thankfully, it's still very, very safe country, one of the safest in the world.
That's amazing.
But it was a different way of growing up, and I was similar to you. So I'm a bit familiar with American states. I know I know about Texas, and
it's one of the bigger ones.
Yes. I especially later, recently in the past few years, I learned more about it because I listened to Joe Rogan podcast.
Okay.
And I'm a huge fan of Kill Tony, if you know. Yeah, so they talk about Texas all the time, and Austin, Texas.
These days it's where a lot of spaceships are taking off from. So that's the most exciting part.
Elon Musk and SpaceX, right? Yeah, that's cool.
Right.
That's also
you go back 20, 30 years ago, and it's just a great place to go to eat steaks.
Yeah. And if you talk to certain people, they would tell you they're aliens there, but landing.
Yeah.
Let's not go that far.
I love to hear how safe it was where you grew up, because in the U.S., everyone has a gun and just shoots everyone. So
so I'm from Croatia, and we were part of Yugoslavia. You heard of it?
Yeah, the 90s war, right?
Yeah, the 90s war. I was born in the 1990, and the war was officially lasting by 95, I
Okay.
believe. So I don't want to go into this. People will kill me if they listen to this. I suck at history. I don't know anything about it. Yeah, but when I was a small child, when I was born, yeah, the war was still going on,
Okay.
and we were separating because because the leader, who was the Tito, who was back then in Yugoslavia, he died, and after his death, like 10 years gone by, and like everything went to shit,
Yeah.
and people didn't want to work together anymore. These different countries that were always kind of recognized within that Yugoslavia, and we just separated. And it was bloody. A lot of people know it was bloody. Like, I believe 12,000 people from Croatia died, which is huge amount for a small
Absolutely.
country. There is 3.8 million right now, maybe similar back then. And so when that went down, and I'd say that people who were here kind of got sick of it, and
Yeah.
I guess that influenced them a lot to be very, very peaceful after that. And yeah, so I can really say I'm blessed with it. Like this community here, I love it. Of course, a lot of people had guns after the war, yeah, but not like you guys. There is not that much public affection towards
Yeah.
guns.
I mean, I know we're not on a historical podcast here or anything, but I love history. I love international affairs and trying to learn as much as possible. Yugoslavia, which I don't do they exist anymore?
No. We were part of
Yeah,
it. It was Croatia, Serbia,
because now it's all
Bosnia,
Serbia.
Slovenia. No. Now, now it's all different countries. Every
Yep.
country that was part of Yugoslavia is basically today its own country.
It's
So you have
Croatia,
Croatia,
Serbia,
Bosnia, Serbia,
Kosovo.
Slovenia, Kosovo, Montenegro. Yeah, we all separated, and we are now.
Bulgaria is still there. They've been around for a while.
I don't think they were part of the ex-Yugoslavia.
I know, but they're a neighboring state, and
They're close. They're close. Yeah. Everything is close in Europe.
when
Yeah, we are very.
the sea between Italy and previously Yugoslavia,
Yeah, that's where we live.
they're
Mediterranean, Adriatic Sea. Yes.
so beautiful. I mean,
Yeah, thank you.
geographically speaking.
That's where we live. Like Croatia is
Oh,
the other side of the boot. Like you have
yeah.
Italian boot, and other side of the sea, that's Croatia, and we have more than 1,000 islands.
Oh,
Also, it's the place where Game of Thrones was.
okay.
Game of Thrones was recorded in Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik is part of Croatia, and it is the oldest democracy in the
Wow.
world. If I can remember correctly, that was like not the oldest one that existed, but continuous.
Yeah.
That...
No worries. I guess the point I was getting at was you grew up in a village and
Yes,
you
indeed.
experienced some small animals. Did growing up with the smaller animals like chickens, did that influence how you developed Turbo Chicken Simulator? Or
I know. No, it has. I don't think it has anything to do with it. Unfortunately, it was not. Everyone expects an epic, legendary story of the project. No.
Right.
For Turbo Chicken Simulator, we just was okay. Let's do something funny, and I've googled. Okay, there's no chicken simulator. Why is no one has done it? We have all
there's
these
a goat
simulators.
simulator.
It's time. Not only goat. There's every animal, every thing simulator. But let's do a chicken simulator. And then we needed additional. First few days of development or weeks, it was called just chicken simulator. Then we were like, what are we going to do in this game? Okay, so you're gonna be this powerful chicken that has superpowers, that drives a car.
You can fucking drive a car.
Yeah, you can drive a car, a Yugo from Yugoslavia, and many other cars, and many more are coming. So we needed okay, this needs it needs a prefix, something better. And I remember the song from is a Montenegrin singer, Rambo Amadeus, who said that turbo. He invented coined the term turbo folk, or as he says it's the burning of people. Turbo folk is the most popular music here around. It's like something turned into a trap these days, but whatever, it doesn't
Interesting.
matter. Yeah, and he describes Turbo Folk as burning of people, but in like people are burning out, to these things, and he says that Turbo is a principle of pumping gas into the internal combustion engine, and the folk are people, and Turbo Folk is burning of people, and that's why we added the prefix turbo to the Turbo Chicken Simulator. So we wanted to make it Turbo Folk. We want to make it crazy, funny, insane, everything, everywhere, all at once in this insane game. If you did play it, right?
I did, yep.
What are your first thoughts so far?
Well, first of all, I love playing as a chicken. It just it gives a really strange, exciting feeling, and the way that the game evolved, talking to a chicken general, and then all of a sudden somebody's giving you a car they have. I had no expectation that somebody was going to give me a car to drive. I found that really funny. As I kept playing the game, I kept coming up with all these different thoughts and feedback. I came across the different level ups, like where you could glide as a chicken and unlock super chicken. Growing up loving Dragon Ball Z was a great throwback. Yeah.
No connection. They complete coincidence.
The chicken doesn't turn gold or anything, I guess.
No, nothing like that. Yeah. Yeah, but we a lot of it's a parody. I also love Vital Jankovic and his music, and I also all other parodies. I'm a huge fan of comedy movies, stand-up comedy, and that definitely and not just me, entire team. We will like to have fun, and why wouldn't we create something that would make us laugh? Maybe. Because I don't think that there are a lot of games who are focused towards comedy, at least not in this sense. Yeah.
And I think what's great about this game is it stumbles across a comedic point consistently. So you're going to find something interesting over and over again. I came across, one of the early gas stations where it had the posters, Lord of Wings.
Lord of the Wings. Yes.
I just find myself randomly laughing, and I'm like, "This is great!" Like,
we are trying to put more and more of those tiny details. Entire story of the game, talking with these different chickens with crazy names, making fun of everything and everyone. So we started off with Balkan. This is where we are from. This is the name of the company, was Balkanware, and we consider Croatian, Serbs, and Bosnians. We call ourselves like Balkan.
Okay.
This is our part. Even though a lot of people in Croatia don't like to think we're Balkan, but whatever.
Yeah, it's more geographical.
But, we share the language, and we share certain aspects of life, and we wanted to incorporate those aspects of our lives into this game as well, and make fun of us ourselves. And we plan to extend upon it. So you've seen the map, it's huge.
Yeah,
and
it's very big.
Certain part of the map is populated currently because we're at version 2.0.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning. So and we are expanding it by releasing new patch each Friday, adding new stuff, and the plan is to not just have
each Friday.
Balkan.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I told you I can't do Fridays much, because I really want to push that build on Friday with new features. And the thing I want to say, so the general plan for the game is to make fun of everyone, not just Balkans. So we plan to add one next region of the map that will be defined like as a snowy region will be Germany.
Interesting.
So we want to make fun of them as well, because they
have really strict chickens in Germany.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. Beer, their culture in general. But and then of course after that it's Murica time. We need to we need to make a giant desert Wild West of Turbo Chicken Simulator with Murica and Americans and guns and all different crazy ideas that not even comfortable mentioning right now, but we will put them neatly in the game.
Yeah.
Making fun of us, making fun of them, making fun of everyone, and I want everyone to 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 have fun with this.
Yeah. And as long as you keep having people laugh about themselves, I think that will be
Yeah,
really positive reception. And it
definitely.
depends on what era of U.S. history you're looking for. Like if you want to stick to
No,
more.
we're not going into the history. We are going into the current state.
Oh, good, good.
We are making fun of ourselves here.
Yeah.
Uh, in a certain state, and we will do the same thing for others. Like just having fun with stereotypes and stuff like that. And funny stories that are maybe relatable, like Florida Man and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my God.
yeah.
I only learned about Florida Man in 2018, and it was just a few years ago. They're like, yeah, just Google Florida Man in this year and your birthday and see what happened. I'm like, what? Like,
yeah.
it just gets
And
crazy.
yeah, man robs McDonald's alligator.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the music, because that was one of the most surprising things to play. Like out of all the game, I jump in the car and it has a radio equivalent to that of like Grand Theft Auto 5. And
The
I'm like,
power.
what is going on here? Did you guys write and make this music? Where did you get these chicken songs from?
Believe it or not, is the power of the artificial intelligence and
Wow.
generative AIs. Yes, indeed. And we are using them to a heavy extent to help ourselves because we are 5 team. And I know that a lot of people are arguing today, oh, should we use it or not? Yeah.
Yeah,
We
use it.
are trying to use it. Definitely. We are trying to use things that would be humanly impossible. So right now in Turbo Chicken Simulator, there is current radio station number 1 is the Clucking Country Radio with Cletus Clut as the host.
Yep.
And that was generated with the AI. But what we did there is we wrote all the text. We came up with all the songs and wrote all the songs and the lyrics, and then you feed them to the generative AI and it spits out a song. You define genres and certain elements of the song, and it's quite simple indeed. But it was necessary because when you are in car, you need music. We could have used some royalty-free bullshit, and you would enter the car and
Right.
it would be like beep 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 beep. Like,
This is
no,
human
no, no, no,
music.
no. Yeah, this is human music. And it's singing about the game. I don't know. Have you noticed? So at the beginning of the game, you pick up clock reactors.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a song on the radio that goes like "Gathering clock reactors from dawn till dusk," whatever. So there are many songs right now. I believe 19 songs plus Cletus Clut as a clock as a
Yeah.
host who chimes in with some funny like jokes, and there are also commercials for the places in the game, so you can listen to like virtual commercials from these chickens that are living in that world. So we want to make something really cool here. Yeah.
You've released the game as an alpha version, early access on Steam.
Yes, version 0.1. Yeah,
And
exactly 2 months ago.
how would you say, looking back on that decision, has that been worthwhile, or do you feel like you would want to wait till a release? Has that helped out?
Listen, I will tell you something. Basically, a lot of people these days are making games, and you either need bunch of money, insane amounts of money, or you need content. You need YouTube videos. You need GIFs. How you found the same way you found my content is through a Facebook group where I posted 4 minutes of uncut gameplay for my game. And you need to do that all the time. And I would suggest to anyone who's trying to make anything bigger that can be playable at any certain point to go to early access. Early access is great. It helps you grow your game as you work on it. You're getting feedback from people. You're getting bits of money our game is very cheap now, only $6.
Okay.
But you're getting all these things, and you're still developing the game. If we would do this in our 5 of us trying to make a game like this alone, I don't think it would end up well. Because right now, each patch that I do on Friday, as I did today, I already got reviews for it on my Discord.
I saw even on Steam had positive reviews.
Yeah, on Steam as well. But I'm telling you, not just positive. I'm telling you more in the real reviews, as in user experience. Like not just this is a great game, whatever. But like today I did this in the game, and this was confusing or this was great. And we get a lot of that each day. So bunch of people and new people are joining each day. Discovering the game, downloading it, and giving us their opinions and shaping the game with us. Maybe if we didn't start, if we only did it by ourselves, closed doors, let's say, some of these, or probably the shape of the game would not be like it is right now because of the feedback from all these players who are actually playing the game, who are interested in it.
I think that's a great way to approach it. And, when you mentioned big budget releases, taking something like Amazon Studios, they have one of the highest budgets in the world. Like they can go and make a movie, they can go and make a game, and they could just throw $100 million US at it. But unfortunately, when they do that, they still come up with a crap concept. Rings of Power being one of them. And it's not a video game, but it's a TV show, and it's like I like Lord of the Rings, I don't like Rings of Power, and Amazon just is like, oh hey, there's a trash can, let's just put $100 bills and fill it up, and that will equal a great product.
Okay, so what's the problem? My opinion is that this making games, making movies, making TV shows, it is an art. You're an artist. At the end of the day, maybe you are using all these complicated tools, programming languages, modeling tools, whatever, animating tools, but at the end of the day, you are creating a piece of art. You're creating a not just content, you are creating a experience for people, and trying to just hire people off the street, from the street, who will do this type of thing and do it strictly from the corporative perspective. Okay, we need so and so many episodes in this and that much time, and whatever, there's trillions of dollars, do whatever you do, and at the end, as you said, it's bad. And I don't think it can work in such a manner. If you look at successful things, take a look at Lord of the Rings, as you already mentioned, one of the greatest movies ever created. It was a passion project for people behind it, who it took them years to get funding for it. So they really wanted to bring Tolkien's books to life. So I think it has to start from passionate people who really want to create something great.
Gotta have passion. If you don't, you're going to be in a loss.
Company like who doesn't do it, especially like Amazon, who started. Today we are selling you very cheap shoes, and tomorrow we're building games. No, you're not. It's not going to work. Continue selling and doing what you do. You're great at that. Stick to your delivery. It's fucking amazing. You made millions, but I don't think you will be successful in this as well. Yeah. So, and especially because I don't think that people who are really passionate, people who have really good ideas or good work good when it comes to making games, I don't think they would like to work in that environment, and they end up working somewhere else. And you don't
absolutely.
So many great people. Not that they are not technically superb. Yeah, they're perfect. Those games are all like pieces of art when it comes to software. Building these massive open worlds, whatever. But from the perspective of a game as a game, they end up being bad. Yeah.
Now, some of the feedback I wanted to share with you in regards to playing Turbo Chicken Simulator, and just let you take it how you want. For the time that I was able to play, like the car itself, I love the idea of the amount of fuel that you have to have. It almost reminds me of military simulators like Arma and less arcadey style games where you have to keep up with fuel. I drove around the map. It's a really, really big map. Are you planning on having a lot of content on this map, or what was the
Yes, yes,
decision
yes, yes.
behind a big map?
Exactly, exactly. We plan to have a lot of content. So, okay, so let's talk about game design a bit then.
Yeah.
So basically, Joe Wonder that we did before this, the game we did, was based on the games from the 90s and the games we liked to play at that time. And those are linear games, you know. You have a start and a finish, and you do these and that objective in order. I got a kid who's 8 now, and he plays video games, and all of his peers play video games, and the video games they play are not linear at all. You know, they don't understand that concept of a video game. It's foreign to them. What they do is open world, only open world, and that was just like, okay, if you want to make something that current generation of players will play, it has to be open world, it has to be big, you have to do everything freely. Currently the only small part of the map is filled, but we plan to like have it equally populated across the map, a lot of small towns and cities. Currently we have two towns in the game, and we at least dozen should be there. As I said, different regions. Part of the map will be covered in snow. Part of it will be in desert. Part of it will be jungle. You know, different weather conditions, different
Right.
types of enemies, different things you can pick up. I don't know. Did you notice? But you can roam around and you can find things in the grass.
Oh, I
Like,
I explore off map very commonly.
yeah, and mushrooms and stuff like that. And you can cook. Did you notice that you can cook? You can grab those ingredients and build meals. Those meals can heal
Yep.
you or can give you special attacks. You can go fishing. You can go work for a taxi station or whatever, race. So basically, I'm trying to make it like really open from the game's perspective, game design perspective, and have a lot of things to do. You need to do a lot of things. You cannot be bored at any certain point. You always need to think about something while you are playing. Yeah.
And I saw that when I was going around and exploring random elements, and there would be other chickens that would tell me like, "Hey, I need this, I need that," and you would add on to the quest items. And so I found that really interesting because you've not only developed a tutorial on the map, but you're also integrating side quest, and so I think that contributes to what your long term goals are.
Yeah. Side quests and main quests as well. Yeah. So basically, every chicken in the game that exists in the game should serve a purpose, and also they are telling you the story of the island, and you are learning about their inner workings, like their relationships as well. There is even a love story like in the game right now, where one guy took each other's wife and or hen,
Oh,
and
jeez.
they need to, yeah, and then you go on a mission to help this guy take a revenge and stuff like that. So yeah, so there is quite a lot of content for 7 months of development or something.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
want
yeah.
to get really complicated, you could always have them choose sides of those disputes, and then like the one that they didn't pick has a bad fortune or something like that.
That would be great. Unfortunately, I don't think that will be possible. I mean, yeah, it's a
It's
great idea,
a
but
lot of
yeah,
depth.
yeah, you need 10 years to do this. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. We plan just to make it. So we plan to add co-op. That's big thing that we want to do, but we want to make this open. As I said, open map. You can go in any direction, do whatever you want to do,
Exactly.
along the way, you're meeting all these different people who are then, or chickens, who are then guiding you, helping you, forcing you to do stuff you wouldn't do, or
Yeah.
telling you about things you didn't know exist in the game, and exploring the game your way. Each single person that starts playing this game should have a different experience at the end. Their path should be different.
Okay.
Maybe you did this, maybe you did that. I don't want, as I said, the kids of today, modern gamers that are coming, that are emerging, they do not understand anything else, So because they grew up on those games, and a lot of games that are popular right now are those games, and those are their core memory games. As we kids, you said we played certain games on NES or PlayStation, right? And these kids today, they just play these types of games. Yeah. And
it's harder to be linear.
Yeah. Also, they enjoy, and that's why certain elements like fuel and stuff like. Did you have problems with the fuel in game, or?
So I tend to do things that aren't supposed to happen, and I drive around the map a lot. I even went as far as running out of gas, and I noticed some like minor bugs where you have a noise or an alert in place when you are low on fuel.
Yeah, and it plays when you're outside of the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. This, Yura will fix it. Yeah.
I was just curious. I'm like, well, there's a gas station, but I'm just gonna keep running on low fuel and see what happens if I run out of gas. And and so that's ended up what happening.
Well, certainly in this current state, that's not the best thing you can do, because there is a very, very big part of map is empty. Like only, let's say 20% or 30%, or this 1/3 of the map is filled with content. Other is empty, because we don't want to add random stuff there.
Sure.
Destroy the environment. We want to go step by step, so to shape the island.
That makes sense.
At the end, the final version that you play, you would always would always be a gas station nearby. You'll be able to pick up gas canisters around as you can. That should be, and stuff like that. That I actually had to plan to do that this week, but ended up not doing. We have all the assets prepared and stuff like that, and all these pickup mechanisms in the game already as a system and stuff like that. But there should be a lot of content, a lot of buildings, and a lot of roads, a lot of towns, and you will always be able to fix that situation. So it should not happen when the map is finished. Yeah, that experience. But if you would stick to the regular part of the game where it wants you to be with the car and stuff like that, then you shouldn't have problems. Also, when fighting enemies, defeating towers right now, you can get actually gas canisters. So you didn't break the game right now. That's also very important. Even though you did something completely unexpected, you can still recover.
I didn't fall through the map.
Yeah. You can't. Yeah, but you can find gas canisters and bring them to your car, start it up, drive it to the closest gas station. To the end. Yeah. So it's very fixable easily. There are also guys right now on the map that sell you gas canisters and stuff like that. Yeah. So we thought about that as well, and that was also a part of something we gathered from the community, because people are playing it every day, and they just someone said immediately, "Oh, I ran out of gas." We already heard that story. So okay, we need to fix it. Then we did, but it will be fixed by itself on a grand scheme of things when the game is closer to finish.
I have to say, I loved the branding humor. So Lay's potato chip, Gay's potato chip.
Yeah.
I started laughing.
There's also Marlboro on the Marlboro, making fun of it.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, this guy is fantastic. And so I even noticed you had that same character. In the beginning he had a cigar, and then later he had like a cigarette.
It was a different person.
Oh, different. Okay, I didn't. Yeah, the names.
I think it's General Koch is first, and you talk with then you talk with Henneken Eggwalker.
Yep.
Then you talk with Leonardo DiCaprio, and I don't know who's the last guy. But yeah, you each chicken has its own name. That's a chicken pun. That's also
Yeah, those are great.
cock pun, and that's also a celebrity name generally. So
You guys need to keep up with the puns. Like they're fantastic.
oh yeah. Well,
Now,
everything that we can do in the humor, we can edit.
and you may already have it planned out, or it's a skill that I haven't unlocked yet in the game. But some things I think that would really add to the game element itself. If you could peck things with a chicken, like where you could just like when you pick up fruit, like watermelon or mushrooms, when you select it, like it shows the chicken pecking it, or you could peck things for melee damage.
Melee is in action. We should probably
great.
add animations. We are planning melee. Yeah, it's in the plan phase, so it will probably be in very soon. Yeah, but we want to expand combat as well. Current combat is not the most exciting in the world, but it gets the job done because that was the first gameplay loop we had in the game, where you would you go fight enemies, you level up, and they drop you clock reactors. Then you sell those clock reactors and you earn money. And when you have money, you can buy things and you have a game. So that was the first thing. That was the version 0.1 that we released on Steam early access. It didn't have much more than that. You had one basic enemy, did one type of damage. None of this, all these different bullet types and stuff like that, flying enemies, none of that was there. And you could sell those and you could buy certain things. And we had customization of the character, so you could buy hits and stuff like that. And we had customization of the car. So those even didn't have performance upgrades, only visual upgrades in the first version.
Yeah.
And we build up from there, and we are adding things as they seem to fit the best, and expanding this game, making it better each day. You should definitely try it in few weeks or few months.
Okay.
And it's
absolutely will.
Just compare your experience. You will see that it grew a lot. The first version didn't have pickup items on the map.
Yeah.
It didn't have nearly as many buildings, places you can go. You can go to a casino right now. You can play the slot machines.
Wow.
You can I don't know what's yeah. It's a lot of fun, crazy little things around that make it even cooler. So there is definitely gameplay in it.
Yeah, some of the things you can do in the future, like because this game is about a parody. It's about making.
This is what I love. This is what I love about it. You ask me the question and you are answering the question yourself. You already have 10 ideas that you want to share with me, and I'm eager to hear them. And maybe I will implement it. Maybe I'm not, but maybe they will shape a new idea in my head, and that's amazing. But please continue.
Yeah, I'm just throwing things out there based on my experience.
Yeah, beautiful.
But
that's beautiful. Yeah, that's why early access is great.
You kind of touched on the description, but like character customization. So imagine when you first load the game up, you can design your own chicken. Like, do you want white, black, yellow? Do you want?
That's not a problem. We should probably do that. Yeah, it's also kind of, as you've noticed, here's a little secret, but the chickens on the map, all the chickens you talk to, it's the same exact model of a chicken.
Yeah,
we just change colors. And we change our, like, Clit Westwood, the sheriff, he wears a cowboy hat.
Hilarious.
And has a gun, and then you go to this and that guy. So currently we do have outfits, so you can go to Chessmite's store in Coxfield.
Okay.
Yeah, there's this commercial on the radio as well. Coxfield, Chessmite. Go there and you can buy cigarettes, you can buy hats, you can buy shoes, and more are coming. Also, quests in the future will bring you additional equipment. We also plan to expand, since it's an RPG, we plan to expand on it, giving certain clothing, certain special abilities, because I want to, as I already told you, we are adding, next region that's coming very soon will be snow. Okay. When you got snow and you got an RPG where all these effects and stuff like that, that logically means now we need temperature. Now we need cold weather and hot weather, and our chicken doesn't like cold weather, so we need to buy a sweater,
Yeah.
or make some food that will make us warmer and stuff like that. And bit by bit, this game will become more and more interesting and have more and more things for you to enjoy at your own pace, in your own direction. Yes.
And all that, I'm sure you guys have already even talked about it, but adding weapons to the game itself. So imagine where right now you can throw an egg from the chicken itself, but what if like you grabbed a slingshot and the chicken?
What if you grab the AK-47?
Yeah, something really powerful, and loaded the egg, and so you still have to produce the egg, but then you have these projectile equipment.
Oh, okay.
And it throws it further, because I noticed when I'm trying to shoot
maybe like a silencer for your butt that you put on your butt, and and I'm not even kidding, but in that direction, I agree, where you add equipment to you and it changes the way you fire or whatever.
Yep. And I noticed some of the foxes that you had set up were harder than others, like on the racing track. They were way harder than the first part. And so, if you could somehow come up with a creative way to sniper rifle the egg and be further away, like that could be an example of like crafting a weapon and
giving you something. As for this combat system, there is right now. We definitely talked about it a lot, and we agreed that it needs a lot of work. So this is far from the. It will
absolutely
probably be the single one thing in the game that will get the most time worked on, because combat is very important for video games, and at the same time it is very hard to make very good.
A lot of delicate systems.
This one we have, it serves a purpose. You have certain things like they can poison you, they can cripple you, they can burn you, and you can do the same things to them if you cook correct meals. Like we have quests, they send you certain chickens send you to a quest. If you complete the quest, they will give you a recipe, and when you cook that recipe or cook ingredients by that recipe, you don't have to have a recipe to cook it. You can stumble upon it as well, because it's like a real world. It's not like predefined by you having that in the inventory. You can get special eggs that will also poison the enemies or burn them, or you can get meals that will regenerate your health, that will remove burn damage or poison damage. If you, let's say you cook a watermelon, you get a watermelon steak, and watermelon steak removes 30 seconds of burn damage effect and stuff like that. That's already in. But we want to expand from the mechanical perspective as well, something you just talked about, where you said like a slingshot or a sniper rifle, where you would change the way. Like right now, you're always shooting eggs from your butt, but there are also ultimate abilities seen. Right now, we have 4 ultimate abilities. Rage bar. So when you get to them, a rage bar shows up, and each time you get damage, the rage bar fills up. It fills up your rage, and then you can press R and activate your special ability for a certain period of time. So that's also kind of for the combat. But again, it needs a lot of work. Also, fighting from vehicles would be cool. Having tanks, maybe mounting a machine gun to the top of your Yugo or any other car. And then going all Rambo style there, like shooting from your while driving and stuff like that. So there is a lot of potential, and this sandbox we're building has a lot of things we can shape it and make it even better.
Now, I noticed some of your game had voiceovers, but that was mostly at like the intro, and then once you got into
that was intro. It was intro. Yeah.
Are you going to expand voiceovers into the game, or do you think it'll be mostly text?
I'm not sure. How do you feel about those? Did you watch any of our game development diaries? Maybe
not the diaries. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but like the voice at the beginning of the game. You played the game today first time, right?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, and the voice you heard, like disclaimer, this game is in
Yep.
version. Yeah, how did that sound to you?
I loved it. I thought it was great, and so I was excited to see more of that, or I guess hear
Okay,
more of it.
so that is done with AI as well. So that's
Wow.
text to
Okay.
speech. Yeah, that's not a
I could have
human.
sworn it was just one of your coworkers. Like,
Yeah, we use it. We use it for development diaries as well, because yeah, I could. We do a development diary each time we release an. That's also another
yeah,
insanity in itself, because you also need time to produce a video. But what I did was I streamed down the process of production of the video, and one of the things I do is I put a script into a text to speech that does a really good job. And instead of recording, because I don't know, have you tried recording videos? This is different. We're talking now, we're babbling, we're making mistakes, but you can't do this in a video. In a video, you need to read a script.
yeah,
Otherwise, the video will suck. Okay, so, and reading scripts to do, let's say, 5-minute script, at least for me personally, and I have a bit of experience with it, it takes 2 hours.
yeah.
It takes 2 hours of reading it and making it perfect. Okay, you need to repeat each sentence so many times and stuff like that. You're always finding problems
Yeah,
with it, and
depending on
then
what you're looking for. Absolutely.
yeah, when you want to make concise, like, and yeah, and then I found this text to speech that does this. It emerged right with the AI things, and now I just write my script. I put it in the thing, and in 30 seconds I get a 5-minute clip done, and I just edit the video gameplay on it, and there we go. We got a game development diary,
Yeah.
and it sounds good, as you say. It's not annoying. It's doing proper inflections, right?
They have expanded AI voices so much. I have one that I
Yeah.
use for. I'm in IT, and I set up AI voices for when you call in to the helpline. And there's a company I use called Natural Readers, and they every 6 months they release like 100 new AI voices, and it blows my mind. Like I can't keep up with how many options there
Yeah,
are.
machine learning. Yeah, you can just, yeah, that's something you can scale. You can scale easily. When you have the framework to train the algorithm
Yeah.
for to train the model on a voice, you just need more people, more computers, and you have more
Yep.
voices. Yeah, and so your opinion is what someone already mentioned that as well. But your opinion basically is that we should put voiceover on all the texts that we have in the game when you talk with the enemies.
Yeah. If
When you
you
talk with the
can,
NPCs, of
if
course, yeah,
you
we can do that. I don't know, just like how would it feel? Maybe like would it ruin the game, or because of? But also it can be in options. It can always be in options, and you can disable it if you dislike it.
Yeah,
But
I
it would
think that's
help.
a great route to go with it. And if you ever run into a situation where you feel like AI isn't cutting it, reach out to me and say, hey, do you want to record some lines? I love doing voiceover, so just let me know.
Okay, got it. Yeah, as for the, like, again, coming to the AI and stuff, what I wanted to say original. So basically, what AI, in my opinion, how it helps us, like people often say, okay, certain people will lose jobs. I disagree with that. I think it will help smaller teams and or individuals build
Absolutely.
bigger productions, and that's what we are doing here. As you said, you game, you found the car, you enter the car, and all of a sudden there's this music station that sings about things in the game, and it's wow, like this is GTA, whatever, right? And like 5 years ago that would be unimaginable. You
Exactly.
know how much money would we have to spend to produce all those songs, and how much time it would take to do it. And like yesterday I created 3 new songs, yesterday, like in a matter
Yeah,
of an hour. I made 3 new songs, whatever.
that's incredible.
So yeah, that's super incredible, and it is allowing us to do things that would be impossible, and we are not taking a job from anyone, because if we didn't have AI, we would never do it
Yeah.
in the first place. This game simply wouldn't have a radio, and
Yeah.
now it does. And that's it. Yeah, simple as that.
And that's what a lot of people think. They misunderstand AI as removing jobs, but it's simply evolving them. As a
Yeah, it's a
developer,
new tool.
you have the ability to cross reference some of your coding with AI. And if you rely on AI to do everything for you, you're going to have a shit product. So it really takes somebody smart to work with AI and create something like what you put out there. Like this music, you can't just go and say, make me great music for a chicken simulator. Like the AI is not going to have a goddamn
Yeah,
clue what you're talking about.
you need to put
Like,
love into it. You need to decide.
yeah,
Okay, I want to sound like this, so it has to be this genre. This
exactly.
like you need to shape it. Yeah. But
AI
and you also
itself,
need not to abuse it.
yeah. I mean, AI itself it's a whole new level of art. It's getting familiar with a new tool, not a replacement. And so that's definitely a misunderstanding in the global perspective, because everyone's running around with no pun intended, but headless chickens screaming that AI is going to take over all these jobs. But it's like, no, there's too much implementation techniques that haven't been covered yet. So
Yeah,
that's going to be exciting.
what I always say is like when we come to this, I'm always like progressive in this manner when it comes to technology and using it, and I'm never resisting stuff. I always want to be first learning. We had the same problem with game engines when game engines started emerging. So before kids, to those who are listening, way a long time ago at the beginning of the world, if you wanted to build a game, you had to create your own engine, and you had to do it on in low level in C++ and OpenGL and
Yep.
stuff like that.
Yep.
And you had to build all the tools for it. You had to build the editors, you had to build the modeling tools and stuff like that. It was insane. It was impossible basically for a single human to do it, or if you would do it as a single human, your game would look like shit. And it would yeah, it would be very small, very basic, very. And then all of a sudden we got Unity, we got Unreal, we got all these great. I had a 3D game studio back in the day. That was my first 3D. Or
Okay.
I even had something before that I used. So all of a sudden, okay, if you take the same line of thought, apply it to this. Okay, so before, to make a game, I needed 15 programmers, right, or 50 programmers. Now I can do it with 2 because I have a game engine. But did it ruin jobs? Did we stop employing less people? No, we employed more and more
Exactly.
people. More and more people are making games. More and more people are using those tools, and there is more programmers than ever. Yeah. So
Yep.
there will be. If let's hope that this ends up the same. There will be more people creating stuff in the future. And again, you won't be able to just come and say, okay, make this great thing for me. Yeah, that will not work. You can try, for example, with generative text models. You can go and tell ChatGPT, okay, write me this epic story. It will not do it. It will
Yep.
not do it.
Exactly.
It can help you. It will write something, but it will not be great. Yeah. So you need to. Also, the same thing goes with DALL-E or like image generation or song generation. You can't just come and say, okay, I want this great thing, do it. You need you need imagination, you need purpose for it and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, you're right on the spot there, and that's fantastic. And it's I haven't gone this far on an interview yet. I feel like I could talk to you for 6, 7, 8 hours. But for the respect of your time and your family and everything, I'll wrap up with this last question. What is the future for you and your team? Are you all hands on and focused on Chicken Turbo Simulator, or is there another game in the works?
Yeah, no, there is no other game in the works. So we want to finish this. That's the plan, and we will continue upon it. Yeah. So we want to use this knowledge and tools that we are building. We're building a lot of tools here, like our own system that could be potentially reusable or completely reusable in the future. And we want to make bigger games, more interesting games, funnier games, or more serious games. I don't know. It depends. It depends really.
Yeah.
But creating games long term, that's the plan. I don't want to move away from that plan.
So you've released the alpha version late last year, and
Yeah,
it
in
looks
December,
like
yeah.
you're looking at fully like your projected release date of the actual game is in 2025. Is that still accurate?
Next year, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I think we can do it. We should do it. Yeah, maybe because I don't think it's realistic for this to be
Yeah.
in this year, but it also depends on the popularity and stuff like that. Maybe we decide, okay, it's enough. Okay, we did it. Let's just wrap things up and move forward. And maybe if the game catches even more, even though it was really, really good reception so far, but if it becomes even better and maybe we should do this longer. So I don't know. I cannot tell you that. That's a very ungrateful question to answer because I don't know. I would be the happiest man in the world if we could publish this game tomorrow, full state. But unfortunately, that's not how things work. And but we always want to do things quicker. That's our goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with your passion and focus, with this game or not, I truly believe you're going to find success in a game.
Thank you very much. Thank
eventually,
you very
and
much.
I love this game. I saw it, and I was just like, I gotta talk to this guy that's making this game. This is fantastic. So
thank you. Tell your friends about it. Go, everyone who's listening, go try Turbo Chicken Simulator. It's just $6. And also, Chris, this show is perfect for myself. I'm a huge
thank you.
consumer of podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and having one that's related to game development and where I can listen to experiences of other people making games, their stories. I recently listened to the guy talking about that Blender, making a Blender game that will teach you how to learn Blender, and I have experience with Blender, and I know what he's talking about, and it was great, and so I'm looking forward to future podcasts.
Yeah, and I hope to release these every Thursday. So
I've noticed that. That's also a good idea. Consistency, that's the key. Be consistent, grind. You need to grind. Yeah, indeed.
I'm super excited for you and your team, and I can't wait to keep trying this game out over the next few months and to see where the development has gone.
Thank you.
And so this has been really joyful for me.
Same for me.
Yeah, I would love to have you on in the future once the game goes post-release, or maybe you've added a few expansion or DLC packs.
Okay, yeah.
And,
we can arrange it. We will talk.
Yeah.
We have each other right now on the social media or whatever, Discord, and we can talk. Just reach out whenever you feel fit. Yeah, and we can do it in the future.
Yeah, 100%. And if you need anything from me, quality assurance feedback or some voiceover work, just reach out. I love to help the community in any way I can, and to make great games even better.
Will do. Nice. It was a pleasure meeting you.
All right. Well, I know it's getting late for you, so I want to let you take off and hang out with your family and get some rest. But I am looking forward to
sleep.
Yeah. I am looking forward to the future of Turbo Chicken Simulator by the studio of Balkanware / Frozen Pixel.
Yeah, Frozen Pixel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Balkanware is the developer. Here, Frozen Pixel
gotcha.
Publisher.
Yeah,
Lords.
Very exciting stuff, and thank you so much for coming on, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, same to you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.